Welcome to the Canes Corner podcast. I am Adam Gold. Hurricanes did not win tonight, but the Hurricanes also did not allow 5 goals. So we are taking baby steps. You got to look for the positives in a season that has seen Carolina start 3-4 so far. So we're going to take those positives and move on. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do a great job. It is great to be starting the aftermath before we started a game a week ago tonight, right? A week ago tonight, they were in San Jose for a 10:30 start. So right now, we were in the third segment of the Storm Watch. Who's excited? This guy's excited. Hey, if it sounds like I am not upset, it's because I'm not upset. I thought this to me looked like a late season game that we have seen Carolina play a ton of, where they actually play a fairly good game. They weren't great by any stretch of the imagination, but in a tough spot against a great team, a team that has done all of its winning at home, basically, Tampa. And still elite players, not the same team that won a Stanley Cup. I don't believe Tampa's a Stanley Cup contender, with or without Andrei Vasilevsky. But still a formidable opponent. And Carolina played, for the most part, a pretty buttoned-up game. What Carolina couldn't do is simply find the goal. And I don't think it was so much about Jonas Johansson as much as it was kind of circumstance. Carolina had plenty of chances to get goals tonight, but just kind of either messed up chances or kind of just missed on some opportunities. And we can go through some of them. I mean, Carolina had the first grade A chance. I think it was a pass from Jordan Staal to Jordan Martinook right at the corner of the goal. And either Johansson was tight to the post and there was no room, or Martinook missed the net. I think it was a save by Johansson. First chance right out of the box. I thought Pyotr Kochetkov played well tonight, very well tonight. Encouraged by what he did. No chance on the first 2 goals. 0 chance on the first 2 goals. And the Nick Paul goal with basically 3 minutes left was one that was a quick pass and a quick shot from pretty close in, left faceoff circle. And good shot. And by the way, all 3 goals late in the period. The third period, the Nick Paul goal was at 17:02. The Alex Barry-Boulet goal, the one that I am most upset with tonight, that goal happened at 17:58. The other goal, the first goal, the power play goal, happened with 39 seconds left in the period. So, I thought Carolina on the first 2 goals, avoidable mistakes for the Hurricanes, and we'll talk about them. But let's just get to the way the game looked. And this is why I'm not upset. Like, if you play like crap and you lose, that's one thing. But I thought Carolina was reasonably good tonight. I'm not going to put myself in the same category as Tripp was on the broadcast. I didn't think Carolina was excellent. I didn't think they really outplayed Tampa. Certainly not in the second period. But I think Carolina generated opportunities. They didn't allow a ton. And I think from that standpoint, we can be more encouraged that Carolina's closer to discovering the type of game that they want to play. They're going to get scoring chances. The truth is, tonight, they did have scoring chances, just not a lot of them were shots or ended up in shots. There were some, and we can go through those in a minute. But first thing I want to do, I'll go through some of your questions here in a second. And we're not going to be here all that long because I understand that there are people who are angry because the Hurricanes are 3-4, but I actually think that tonight did, I think, demonstrate that the team can play a much more sound defensive game. They were pretty good tonight. Again, 3 goals happened, 2 of them super avoidable. and Carolina was just a shade off on their chances. But just deal with the personnel first. Personnel tonight, and did the lines get jumbled, and I don't know what to make of it in terms of, is this the way they're going to be going forward? I don't believe so. I think Rod will probably revert on Thursday against Seattle. Sebastian Aho played, but didn't play center, played the wing with Teuvo Teravainen and Martin Necas. I thought Aho was good and Necas was good. I didn't care for Teuvo today. I didn't think Teuvo was on it. I don't know that Teuvo is. I don't know that Rod wants to keep him at center. I think that they didn't want Aho to play center tonight for whatever the reason is, whether it's in his upper body injury, if it's something where he doesn't want Aho to take a face-off. I'm not sure. Maybe it's true. Maybe there's an elbow issue. I don't know. I really don't. He didn't look hampered tonight. So for whatever reason, Aho stayed on the wing. And then when they flipped lines around, Aho went with Stahl and Fost, and Martinook went up with Teravainen and Necas. And then in the third period, it was a complete cluster. I don't even know who was with who. Oh, it was Aho and Necas with Stahl. It was like a slow bleed. It was crazy. But the line that has been very good for Carolina, the line centered by Kokaniemi with Jarvis on the right and Nason on the left, that line was separated after the second period. But my guess is that Rod will go back to that line. So, by the way, in case you care, I do. Maybe you do. 4-2 Diamondbacks, bottom of the seventh inning. But I'll keep you up to date. You don't have to leave the Canes Corner podcast, brought to us by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina, here live on YouTube, and do everybody a favor. Just kind of gently caress the like button. So I don't think Aho's going to stay on the wing. I think Aho will eventually move back to center. But maybe Rod is tinkering with the idea of keeping Teuvo Teravainen at center and maybe adding another forward on the wing. I said it before. I'll say it again. Although I don't think Brendan Lemieux played a bad game tonight, I just don't see the value in Brendan Lemieux. I don't know that he helps you play, especially since I really think that if Carolina is going to utilize Aho, Teravainen, and Kokaniemi as three centers, and there is a glaring omission there, right? We'll get to that. If Rod is going to utilize those three players at center, then I just don't see where Brendan Lemieux fits, because your checking line would be your Stahl, Martinook, and Fost. And then you got to find a winger who can maybe give you a little griminess, but also potentially give you a little goal-scoring punch. I don't know if Jamison Reese is that guy or not, but I wouldn't be allergic to seeing Carolina try that. Okay, let me get to the omission there. The omission there is, of course, Jack Drury, who I don't believe. I think Jack Drury is a good player. He just might not be good for Carolina right now. I just don't see a lot of adding to the game. And if he can't at this point, I mean, he wasn't bad tonight. Jack's not bad. But you have to make some sort of an impact in the game, and he's not threatening to score. He does have an assist this year, but I wouldn't say that Jack Drury has been an offensive plus. He's not winning enough faceoffs. He did, almost fight tonight. He took his gloves off, and he and Nick Paul, I don't even know what the reason for the fight was. I think Jack maybe challenged him. He's like, "You want to go?" And Nick Paul was like, "With you? Really? Oh, okay. So that's fine. But again, what does that do? I don't see the value in it, but whatever. Nobody got hurt, thankfully. I think Jack took a punch to the helmet, but I'm sure he wasn't hurt. He didn't really deliver a punch. So if Drury is not going to impact the game, Carolina's got too many top six forwards if you're going to use a fourth line and the stall line. So at this point, your fourth line was Nason, Drury, and, well, right now it's Lemieux, if you were going to try to do it like that. But it would be better if that line was Teravainen, Nason, and, I don't know, Svechnikov. I mean, it could be. You just don't know what it's going to be. If you left Nason with Kokoniemi and Jarvis, and you had the SAT line, Svechnikov, Aho, and Teravainen, you have Natchez. I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm not entirely sure that Jack Drury is part of the equation going forward. But I also don't know what Carolina has in the minor leagues to add. They do have cap room, so they can always go out and add another NHL player. I'll say it. I don't think they'll do it, and I'm not sure the organization is really interested in it. But I know who would be really cheap, and he's 6'4" and left-handed and used to wear number 12, and he'd do it in a second. And I know a captain would love to have him. Yes, that Eric guy. I'm not sure how the fans would react to it, but I think he could impact this team more than Jack Drury could. So I would be all for a reuniting with Eric Staal. Here's the other thing about what Eric can do. Eric's still a very good skater, and he's become a good penalty killer. And he's big, and he can play with a little sandpaper at this stage of his career. He does do that. So I would do it. If I were, I would at least consider it, but I don't know how the organization feels about it. That's just a personnel thing. On defense tonight, without Brett Pesce, and nobody wants to play without Brett Pesce, but I do think that we saw a couple of things that might portend something for the future. The first is, if Pesce is out, Orlov and Shea. I didn't hate that. I know Dmitry Orlov is a very convenient target, and I don't think he has been great, but I also don't think he has been a problem the last couple of games. Orlov's a really good player. It's not easy to play Carolina style, especially when you are not swift. And Dmitry Orlov is not swift. He's got some shifty moves, though. He does have a little shake and bake to him, and I appreciate that. But he plays his offside pretty well, and he played with Brady Shea on a second pair, and actually that pair, I think, led Carolina's defensive core in ice time tonight. And then Tony DeAngelo and Jalen Chatfield were your third defensive pairing. When everybody's healthy, and it's Slavin and Burns, and I thought Burns was pretty good tonight, and Shea and Pesce, I like Orlov and Chatfield together more so than Orlov and DeAngelo, because if Dmitry is going to kind of go on some offensive excursions, if he's just going to roam, if he's going to attack, Tony is probably not the right pair for him. And in that case, I'd just as soon let Chatfield play. You lose something on the power play because Tony is the best at walking the blue line of anybody on Carolina. But you've got Burns, who can be on the power play. You've got Orlov, who can be on the power play. And I remember a couple of years back, I did not hate Jacob Slavin on the power play. I don't care what you say. I did not hate Jacob Slavin on the power play. I didn't love Brady Shea on the power play. I didn't love Brett Pesce on the power play. But I didn't mind Jacob Slavin quarterbacking your second power play unit. With that said, this is just the way I look at it if Tony DeAngelo is not in the lineup. And I love Tony. I do. I hope you people understand that. I like the way he plays. I like him personally. And I like what he brings to the team. I like the edge he plays with. Sometimes he crosses the line, and that's bad Tony, and we don't like that. But I like a lot of things about Tony. But right now, I think Orlov, when he's on a third pair, when Brett Pesce is back, I think the best thing for Dmitry Orlov is to have Jalen Chatfield. So All right, that's the structure of the team. Thought Pyotr Kochetkov was very good tonight, and I would be in favor of Kochetkov getting the start against the Seattle Kraken. And they're going to use two goalies Thursday and Friday. I would be in favor of Kochetkov getting the start against the Kraken on Thursday and then letting Anderson come back against San Jose on Friday. If Rod wants to protect the kid, Anderson backed up tonight, so obviously he's able to play. So if Anderson backed up, then you want to start Anderson against the Kraken and then give the kid San Jose, somebody who should theoretically be a little easier. That's fine. Don't think it matters. I liked the kid tonight. I thought he was very good. He strayed a little bit out of his crease a few times. It made me a little nervous, but he recovers well, and I think I just like the energy he plays with. So at this point, I'd keep running him out there. I don't think he's hurting you. I don't think Anderson is either. So, but I like Kochetkov tonight. Before we get to some questions here, let me run through the two goals, the first two goals, which to me were the difference in the game. We knew going in, the Hurricanes knew going in, Tampa's power play operates at a 35% clip going in. They were 7 for 20 on the season. And on top of 7 for 20 for the season, they were 7 for 14 when Steven Stamkos is in the lineup. Steven Stamkos was in the lineup tonight. So they were 7 for 14. Carolina, in their last 22 power plays against, had allowed 9 goals. So this does seem like a bad matchup if Carolina's trying to rediscover their penalty kill, which last year was elite. But I would point out that last year did not start well either. It wasn't as bad as this, obviously, but it didn't start well either. It took them a while before they consistently got over 80% success rate on the kill. And then once they got over, they went on some kind of a ridiculous run where they killed off like 51 of 54 power plays in the middle of the season. And it really is one of the strengths of their team, just like defense, is basically the strength of their team until this year. So the first power play, they kill off. And I forget the infraction for that one. But the second one, which was whistled with about a minute left in the period, was an absolutely avoidable, unnecessary high stick. It wasn't blade of the stick. It was shaft of the stick, basically. Lower shaft, but shaft of the stick. And Teuvo Teravainen is trying to bat a puck down. And he doesn't get the puck. He gets whoever it was across the side of the head. It's an easy call. I got no complaint at all with the call. And you go to the penalty box, and there's a minute left in the period. You played a really good period. I thought Carolina was the better team, if only slightly, in the period. You had more scoring chances. I thought that's when Carolina was their most dangerous. I thought Tampa had some scoring chances, too, in the first. And Kochetkov had to make some good saves. But you take that penalty, and with 39 seconds left in the period, Victor Hedman, alone atop of the point, in the center of the ice, gets a puck through. It's not a threatening shot at all, but Braden Point is alone in the slot, and he deflects it, and it kind of floats past Pyotr Kochetkov, and it's 1-0. So for the third straight game, Carolina allows not only a late period goal, but a late first period goal. In Colorado, Carolina had a 1-0 lead until a power play late in the first period and the goal off of Ryan Johansson's skate. And Carolina goes from playing a really good period to having a sour taste in their mouths because they let the lead go away. They gave up a late first period goal in Seattle that made it 3-1 Kraken, and again tonight. And it was just an avoidable penalty. And these are the things that Carolina right now is doing that get in their way. All right, never mind. 1-0. I mean, the goal wasn't bad. The penalty that allowed the goal was bad. So now let's get into the second period. I know Tripp was excited about it. I thought Carolina was at least more dangerous in the first period. Maybe they were a little more loose. Kochetkov had to do more heavy lifting. But I thought Carolina's best period in terms of scoring opportunities was the first, and the third would be the second choice there. But Carolina had the puck for most of the period. Tampa wasn't all that threatening, and that was good. It was good that Carolina defensively was very good. But with 2 minutes left in the period, just about 2 minutes, I think it was 2:02 when the goal was scored. Alex Barré-Boulet comes in down the left side. Kochetkov waits him out, forces him wide. He goes behind the net, passes it out, not all the way to the point, but relatively close to the point, to Dylan Radish. And Radish got the puck back through. And there's Barré-Boulet, who came out from behind the net and camped out on the left side of the goal. And he just simply redirected a shot. I guess it was a shot from Radish. He redirected the shot into what amounted to an empty net. And then you go, where was Jacob Slavin on the play? This is 2 games in a row, I think, where Slavin's mistake led to a critical goal. So in the game against Colorado, Carolina's got a 3-2 lead. And who loses the board battle on the wall to the, out by the blue line? It's Slavin. Fredrik Olofsson, of all people, beats Jacob Slavin off the wall with the puck, comes in and scores. Could Kochetkov have stopped that goal in Colorado? Yeah, could have. But it wasn't a bad goal. It wasn't like, how the heck didn't you get that? It wasn't like one of the Antti Ranta gaffes of the year. But that was a Slavin mistake. You hate seeing Jacob make mistakes like that because you know that's not his DNA. And you wonder if there's not a trade-off between the 7 points now in 7 games that Slavin has, or if it's just one of those things. I prefer to think it's just one of those things. But it's 2 games in a row. Critical goals allowed. The one in Denver on Saturday allowed the game to be tied. Carolina just fought back and taken a 3-2 lead. You allowed the goal where they were tied, and that was the first of 4 consecutive goals for Colorado in the period. And tonight, late in the second, basically left everybody feeling as though, man, tonight, I think Carolina's going to score 2 goals tonight. That was a killer. All right, before we get to some of your questions, here are some of the chances that I saw. And it's not all of them because Carolina had a few more than this, obviously. I talked about the Martinook try right out of the gate, first shift of the game, side of the goal. Couldn't get it through. But I thought that there were 3 incredible chances for Carolina to score, all in the third period. And to me, this is the night in a nutshell. So it's a 4-on-4 situation. I forget exactly how we got to 4-on-4. But it's Aho to Jarvis. And Aho's pass to Jarvis was basically from the goal line. He was to the right. If you're looking at the goal, he was to the right of the goal. Jarvis is in the slot, sort of. And it was a little pocket pass up to Jarvis, who was in the slot. And maybe the pass handcuffed him a touch. But I personally think Jarvis was a shade late in delivering to the puck. And he whiffed it. It was like inside of the heel of his stick. But that was a good pass and a great scoring opportunity that Carolina didn't even get a shot off on. Not that long after that, maybe a minute, Martin Necas takes a shot from the high slot. He has to fight through some traffic to get the shot off. I thought it was a great save by Johansson. The puck eventually comes right across to Tony DeAngelo on the left side of the goal. And Tony whiffs it. Those are two incredible scoring opportunities for the Hurricanes. They don't even get a shot on goal on those two. D'Angelo's not a shot, so it's not even a scoring chance. Aho to Jarvis, not a shot, so it's not even a scoring chance, even though it's a great opportunity for Carolina to score a goal. Remember, at that point, it's still 2-0. You get a goal there, and I think the Jarvis chance, there was about 6.5 minutes left. Now, all of a sudden, you can pull your goaltender, and you got a one-shot. It's a one-shot hockey game. So those two chances happened pretty quickly back-to-back. And then Carolina gets a power play. And I believe this was the third power play, and I thought it was Carolina's best of the night. Michael Bunting is backdoor to the right of Johansson. Martin Necas is not directly above the left face-off circle, top of the circle, sort of inside. And I think it was a pass all the way. Maybe it's a shot. I think it was a pass all the way, but it went diagonally across in front of the goal, and Bunting is on the back door, and all he's got to do is angle his stick so it's on net, and he redirects it wide. It's an empty net. He redirects it wide. To me, those three chances were as good as it got tonight for Carolina, and every single one of them should have been, well, the first two, if you're on net, who knows if they're goals or not. The Bunting one is a goal. Flat out a goal if it's on net, because he was behind the goaltender. And I thought that, as much as anything, was an indicator as to what the night was like for Carolina. Just a shade off. Other than that, I mean, again, I've actually thought Carolina played a pretty good hockey game. And not that they played better. This was not, they deserved to win, because no. It was the proper result of a game. But I didn't think Carolina was bad, and I don't think all the problems we have seen for, the better part of 6 games, I don't think those problems were in evidence tonight. So, all right, let me get to for a couple of minutes here. We'll get to some of your questions. Yes, James points out, well, at least we didn't give up 5. And that's good. So, okay, I'm not entertaining questions about the slogan. Nobody cares about the slogan. Take warning wasn't any better or worse than cause chaos. Slogans are fun. They're marketing. They have nothing to do with anything. But I'm sure that Matt's got the smiley face emoji, so that's all right. Let's see. Other Matt. No, same Matt. Sorry. What is Lemieux bringing to the team? Not much. I'm not arguing that. Like I said, I don't like Lemieux. I think Lemieux can go somewhere. Maybe you put him on waivers and send him to the minor leagues. I don't know. But maybe he's got a value to this team. I know Rod really wanted him. Maybe Rod wanted the idea of a player like Brendan Lemieux more than he liked Brendan Lemieux. Let's see. Samuel points out, can't blame goaltending tonight. Again, for me, I have to do 3 stars, win or lose. I don't put them on Twitter if they lose, but win or lose, I have to do 3 stars. To me, Kochetkov was the first star tonight. I liked him. So, I think that the most encouraging thing we saw tonight was Kochetkov played well, especially after allowing 6 goals to Colorado. You worry if he's going to be all right. Our friend Mikhailov from Adelaide, Australia. So where is our next win coming from? Well, hopefully it's Thursday. I think you win Thursday and Friday, you start feeling good about things again. And again, I think you carry over what you did defensively. Caleb wants to know, should he send back his D'Angelo and Orlov jerseys? Man, keep them. They're cool. Keep your Tony D jersey. We'll always have what Tony D did here 2 years ago. I love Tony D. I think Tony's got a value to this team, and down the road, maybe Tony is a third pair defenseman power play specialist. You could do worse than that if you have the right partner for him. I'm not sure Orloff is the right partner for him, but we got to see what Carolina is going to do defensively next year. Are they bringing back Shea and Pesci? Do you bring back Shea and Pesci and Orloff and Burns and Slavin? I don't know. I mean, my own feeling is that they signed Orloff with the idea that they were going to trade Pesci. That's what I think they did. And I think that if they believed that they were going to keep Pesci, I don't think they would have signed Orloff. That's what I think was their mindset. And again, I thought Orloff played well with Brady Shea tonight on his offside. I really did. I thought that was good. Let's see. Where is Anderson at? He was wearing a baseball cap tonight. He was the backup, which, I mean, encouraging sign for me if he was well enough to back up. He was certainly well enough to start. But again, I like Kochetkov. I just as soon see that arrangement again on Thursday. Let Kochetkov play. Let Anderson back up. At this point, I think you want the challenge for Kochetkov. I think you want to keep challenging him. I mean, maybe he's look. Anderson played well, I thought, in the first two games, but we'll see what happens. But again, if Anderson and Kochetkov are going to be your two guys, then you're going to have to get Kochetkov some action. You can't treat him like you treat Antti Raanta, where Kochetkov plays once every 3 or 4 games. You can't let Freddie play 60 and Kochetkov play 22. So it's got to be more of a maybe, 50-32 split. That would be, if you thought about it in those terms, I'd be all about something like that. Matt's got a lot of comments here. Okay, Matt, you can't hog all the comments, Matt. Come on, man. James says we're playing too soft on D. Too many guys able to just camp in front of the net. Well, that was the case for the second goal. Again, that's a Jacob Slavin problem tonight. Hate that for Jacob. But it was not a good Jacob Slavin night. Usually you can rely on Jacob Slavin to be one of the best players on the ice. He was not tonight. Brent Burns played less than 20 minutes. Interesting stuff. All right. Again, not bent out of shape. Not bent out of shape over the way they played tonight. Not happy with the loss, but not mad at how it looked. And I don't think the head coach is mad at how it looked. It looked more representative of what it's supposed to look like. All right. Finally, from Will, return of Svetch Thursday night. The Hurricanes are practicing tomorrow. I think it had to be that way for any chance of Svechnikov playing. I could absolutely see the team waiting until Friday, but there's no room for a practice. But he's out of the non-contact jersey. He wore a white jersey to practice yesterday and took a puck off the chin, by the way, or a sting. Got a gash on his chin. He's still handsome. But if he's good to go, then let's throw him on the ice and see what happens. And I'd like to see Carolina with their full complement. It would be great to see their full complement of forwards, and then maybe Brett Pesce will come back pretty soon. But I also want to see the fully operational Sebastian Aho. I'd like to see what this team looks like when everybody is healthy and going. So, with that said, I hope so. Will. All right, we're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. On Hamlin Road in Durham, there's no place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do a great job. You should call them or just go online, aluminumcompany.com, for a free no-obligation estimate. I'm in a screened-in porch right now. If I wanted to enclose this, and I don't, but if I did want to, they would be the people to call. With that said, we'll talk to you after the Canes and the Kraken from PNC Arena Thursday night. Live on YouTube. Subscribe to this. So you always know when it's coming. Yeah. All right, the Canes lost. And the Phillies are losing 4-2. They're in the bottom of the 8th. Philly is not threatening. Sort of like the Hurricanes offense tonight. Oh, that hurt. I'll see everybody Thursday night. Appreciate your time. Good night.